NDIS is insurance for everyone. It's in case we get sick and don't get better, or if we have an injury and don't get better, or if we are born with disabilities. It's a wonderful thing, because all of us don't have to live in fear of disability so much. We can have lives, and our families can have lives too. And this has proven to benefit the economy. For every dollar spent by the NDIS, the economy gets $2.25 back. That's over a 200% increase. Under the proposed NDIS bill, we could lose our right to reasonable and necessary support, as currently stated in the NDIS Act. When you have a disability, it can cause you not to have a life, because disabilities cost money. The NDIS is meant to lift you up, so you can have a life. That is where the term reasonable and necessary is used. Reasonable, because bionic legs cost millions, and necessary, because this is what you need to lead a life. Catheters, gloves, wheelchairs, communication devices, hoists, high-low beds, support workers, and so on. Anything you might need because of your disability or disabilities, and this is always different. Like, I need a certain shower head to clean myself. Everyone's disability is different, and everybody's life is different, so we need different plans. Necessary is a very important word in there, because otherwise, the NDIS can say no to all kinds of things that are vital for us, like gloves that don't hurt me. And we could lose the ability to advocate for ourselves. Under the proposed NDIS bill, we could lose our choice and control over what we can purchase with our NDIS funding. Under the proposed NDIS bill, all support workers will have to be NDIS registered, making it harder for people to become support workers and giving us less choice. And support may cost more because of having to go with registered providers. This recommendation may only profit support companies and impact those that the government pretends to want to assist. Under the proposed NDIS bill, new legislation does not allow for people with disabilities to be involved in determining how processes are designed and put into practice. Our experience and knowledge should shape how we access support and funding. Under the proposed NDIS bill, we could be forced to undergo assessments to prove our needs. We have already had to go through all of this with health professionals, and it is traumatic. Why do we need to go through it all again? We don't know what these assessments will look like, or how they will be used to assess our needs. Under the proposed NDIS bill, people could be forced off the NDIS before the state and territory governments establish foundational supports, leaving many in our community without support. I can't see why this isn't just all under the NDIS. Under the proposed NDIS bill, it will be harder to get on the NDIS. Under the proposed NDIS bill, people who need 24/7 support could be forced to share support and be put at greater risk of abuse and neglect. I have extensive experience of this, and it was horrible. People think it's safer in a group home because there are always witnesses, but this isn't always the case, and the abuse I suffered was nearly always witnessed. Under the proposed NDIS bill, people with mental disabilities could be treated less fairly. I can see this happening. Under the proposed NDIS bill, it could be harder to appeal an inadequately funded NDIS plan. I have been through the appeals process, and I get really scared at the thought of not being able to do it again. Under the proposed NDIS bill, NDIA may unfairly ask you to pay back the funds they see as inappropriately spent, but will not prosecute because in a court of law you are innocent until proven guilty. They would be putting us in debt with no hope of paying it back. Of course we want to have any fraud stopped, but penalizing us all through these changes is not right. And all of this fraud is because NDIS was asleep at the wheel. It will cost more money in the future and only create negative change. It will cause less productivity and cause more disability through neglect. I'm not sure we can fight this because of all the propaganda and misinformation out there. This is making people think that by robbing funds from the disabled community they can fix the economy, when it is the very opposite. As a society, we will all suffer, because NDIS is meant for all of us, and we will just suffer because so many of us are suffering. We will all suffer, and many more people will die through neglect. The government, lower house, have voted through the changes to the NDIS, so what we have to do now is contact every senator in the Senate and urge them not to pass this bill. It doesn't need to be long. You just need to say you oppose the proposed NDIS bill and maybe add any of your information if you want to and have the capacity. And say it publicly if you can that you will not vote for anyone who votes for this bill. before the next time the Senate meets on the 24th of June. Any letter saying you don't want this is a good letter, because you are weakening their position. And if we win, they will think twice before coming after us again. And please, pass this word on to as many people as possible.